Have you ever felt like your car hates you? Like you do everything right, but it still breaks down. It leaks oil, overheats, vibrates for no reason, and every trip to the mechanic feels like a new episode of a horror show. And you know what's the worst part? That while you're struggling with yours, there are identical cars out there that go over 300,000 kilometers like it's nothing. No whining, no drama, no outrageous bills. It's not luck, it's not just the brand, and no, it's not that your car is a lemon. The truth is, there are daily habits that slowly kill it, even if you don't notice. And there are also maintenance routines that are worth their weight in gold, and others that are just a load of nonsense. Today we're going to tell you why your car breaks down for no apparent reason, what things you do every day that are destroying it, and most importantly, how to take care of it so it lasts for years without having to spend a fortune. If you drive every day, if you love your car, or if you just hate giving money away to repair shops, this video is for you. Imagine you have two identical cars, same brand, same model, same year. One makes it to 300,000 kilometers without any issues, while the other starts having problems at 50,000. Same car, totally different realities. The reason? It's not in the engine, it's in who's driving it. A lot of times we think the problem is at the factory. That car was just a bad one, they sold me a lemon. But the truth is, in most cases, the car doesn't break down because of some hidden defect, but because of a bunch of small mistakes we make every day without even realizing it. Starting the car and taking off right away, filling up with the cheapest gas as if they're all the same, braking hard because nothing ever happens, or never checking the oil, brake fluid, or coolant levels, because you can just see that on the dashboard, right? Small decisions, repeated every day. And the result? A car that looks fine on the outside, but is actually wearing out faster than it should on the inside. Like a person who seems healthy, but smokes, sleeps poorly, and eats junk food. Sooner or later, your body makes you pay for it. The same goes for your car. But there's a solution for this, and it's not expensive. You don't need to take your car to the shop every month or get obsessed with replacing parts before it's necessary. You just need to know what really matters and what's just made up by mechanics or popular beliefs. There's a mistaken idea floating around in every workshop that the more you pay, the better you take care of your car. And even though that sounds logical, the truth is that the maintenance that really matters isn't always the most expensive one, but the one that's done at the right time. Let's start with the most famous one of all, the oil change. Everyone knows it has to be done, but very few people understand why, when, and what type of oil to use. Changing the oil isn't just a formality, it's the heart of your engine's lifespan. When you don't do it on time, residue starts to form a kind of internal sludge that clogs ducts, hardens parts, and overheats the engine. How often should you change it? It depends on the oil. If it's mineral oil, between 3,000 and 5,000 kilometers. If it's semi-synthetic, it can last up to 7,000. And if it's fully synthetic, even 10,000 or more. But be careful, mileage isn't the only thing that matters. Time matters too. If you only use your car on weekends, you still have to change it at least once a year, because oil ages even if you don't drive. Now let's talk about filters. A lot of drivers only remember the air filter and blow it out with a compressed air gun, thinking that's enough. But there are 4 filters that are essential: oil, air, fuel, and cabin. Each one has its own replacement schedule. Each one is different, but they all have an impact. Let's move on to the belts, especially the timing belt, also known as the engine's Russian roulette. If it breaks while the car is running, it can bend valves, damage pistons, and leave you with a repair bill that's higher than the value of the car. I'm not exaggerating. Most manufacturers recommend changing it between 80,000 and 120,000, depending on the model. Ignoring that is like playing with your car's health on the edge. And let's not forget the fluids, brakes, coolant, steering. They all have a lifespan. If you ignore them, they can boil, rust, or lose viscosity. Replacing them costs little. Fixing the damage from not doing so costs a lot. Lastly, alignment and balancing. It's not just so your tires don't look crooked. Bad alignment wears your tires unevenly, and that makes them last less than half as long. Plus, it can affect the suspension, the steering wheel, and even the car's handling. These maintenance tasks aren't optional, they're not luxuries, They're the bare minimum for your car to breathe, run, and last for many years. And the best part is that doing them on time costs less than fixing what gets ruined if you don't. In every city, there's a shop where as soon as you arrive, they greet you with a list of urgent things that need to be done to your car right away. Engine cleaning, preventive scanning, air conditioning lubrication, spark plug replacement, even if your car isn't having any issues. Everything sounds technical, important, but a big part of it is useless, or at least not necessary at the moment they're trying to sell it to you. Let's talk about one of the most common ones, engine cleaning with steam or foam. It sounds fancy. You see it shine afterwards and you might even think it runs better, but unless you have an oil leak or you're about to sell the car, cleaning the engine doesn't improve its performance. And let's not even get started on the famous engine decarbonization. They offer it to you like it's a spa session for your car, claiming it removes residue, boosts power, and saves fuel. But if your car isn't losing power, blowing excessive smoke, or having combustion problems, that decarbonization is like paying a doctor to operate on you when you're perfectly healthy. Another common trap, premature replacements. There are mechanics who tell you to change your brake pads when they still have half their lifespan left, or to replace the shock absorbers just because the car bounces a little over potholes. But a lot of those parts have some leeway, and changing something that still works is just throwing money away out of anxiety or lack of knowledge. Then there are the famous mileage checkups, which many dealerships or service chains offer as bundled packages. They tell you, at 10,000 kilometers you need to do this, this, and this. But the truth is, every car and every way of using it is different. And be careful with electronic scans when there are no clear symptoms. Sometimes they offer it to you as a preventive diagnosis, but if your car doesn't have any warning lights on or strange behavior, chances are the scan won't show anything, or worse, it'll bring up old errors that don't even exist anymore. And what about the famous computer reset, parameter reset, or injector calibration when the car is running perfectly fine? A lot of times, they just hook up a tool, charge you a fortune, and don't actually do anything real. Now, this doesn't mean these procedures are never useful. There are specific situations where they do help, but the trick is not to fall for doing them just because someone recommends it, just in case. Because in the automotive world, just in case usually means unnecessary bills. A lot of cars don't die from accidents. They die from routine, from habits so small and automatic that we repeat them without thinking. But those actions, over time, wear down parts, weaken systems, and leave invisible scars that one day blow up, right when you need your car the most. Let's start with one of the most common, starting the car and driving off right away. In theory, nothing happens. In practice, you're taking away the engine's most important seconds of the day. When you start the car, the oil is still cold and hasn't fully circulated through the engine. Now let's talk about something we all do, braking the wrong way. If you always brake hard, even when you could have slowed down gradually, you're shortening the life of the brake pads, wearing down the discs, and putting strain on the entire suspension system. And the flip side of that coin, accelerating abruptly when the engine is cold. Many people do it out of habit, others out of impatience. But when the engine is cold, forcing it with sudden acceleration wears it out internally. Another destructive habit, always driving with the tank almost empty. It's not just about running out of gas. What many people don't know is that sediments accumulate at the bottom of the tank. When you drive with little fuel, the pump draws from that lower area, bringing dirt into the system. There are also those who think that washing the car often is a waste of time. But dust, bird droppings, tree sap, and salt from certain coastal areas corrode the paint and rust the bodywork. And be careful about carrying unnecessary weight all the time. Are you one of those people who treats the trunk like a mobile storage unit? That constant weight increases fuel consumption, wears out the brakes and suspension, and makes the car work harder than it should on every trip. I could go on, driving straight over curbs, not checking tire pressure, always parking with the steering wheel turned, leaving the car out under the blazing sun all day. All of these are habits that seem harmless, but just like in a relationship, what destroys things isn't a single outburst, it's the quiet neglect repeated over years. When you see an old car that still runs like new, with flawless paint, a smooth engine, and well-kept interiors, it's easy to think that car was just built well. But if you ask the owner, almost every time they'll tell you something few people want to hear: "I've taken care of it like it was part of the family." Did you know that many of the cars that reach 300,000 or even 500,000 kilometers aren't luxury cars, not even premium brands? They're regular cars: Corolla, Civic, Sentra, Hilux, Duster. What they have in common isn't the badge, it's the owner. And this even applies to more affordable cars. There are Sparks, Logans, Avios, or Gauls that have traveled halfway across the country without any trouble, just because someone took 5 minutes a week to check the oil level, because they warmed them up before driving, because they didn't see them as just an object, but as a tool for life. The funniest thing is, often the people who ruin their cars the fastest are the ones who use them the most. Taxi drivers, delivery people, app drivers. Why? Because routine makes them numb. On the other hand, there are people who manage to make their car a part of their story, not just a means of transportation. People who pass it down to their children, who sell it at a good price because the buyer can tell it was well taken care of. And now I ask you, do you want your car to last? Do you want it not to leave you stranded when you need it most? Do you want it not to drain your wallet with repairs you could have avoided? Then, it's not about switching brands. It's about changing your mindset, because your car isn't just an object. It's the silent companion for all your errands, your trips, your emergencies, and your dreams. And it deserves to be treated that way.